Well, they are counting on you giving up. They are counting on you moving on and literally forgetting about it. That is the commonality between our first and last segments tonight in this hour. In our last segment, we'll see how Vladimir Putin's method has always been counting on people to give up, savagely attack Ukraine with daily war crimes until they give up. That's his strategy. And Vladimir Putin has always savagely attacked the rights of the Russian people in Russia so that they will give up resistance to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin put our last guest tonight in prison when she was 22 years old to force her to give up. But Nadia Tolokonikova has not given up and will not give up. Vladimir Putin had Nadia sentenced to hard labor in prison for singing a song along with other members of her group Pussy Riot. Nadia will tell us what it means now that Vladimir Putin has had her friend Alexei Navalny transferred to one of Russia's most feared prisons. It was a secret that Navalny was moved to another prison. His lawyer discovered it by going to the prison to visit him, only to learn that his client had been moved to another prison. Secrecy is one of their most important tools in getting you to give up, and that is how secrecy is now being used by Republican officials in Texas, from the governor all the way down to the mayor and the city council and the school board of Uvalde. They are all trying to preserve the secrecy of what happened in Robb Elementary School when police failed to take action against a mass murderer in that school for 77 minutes after the police entered the school. And we now have new reporting tonight that shows it's worse than we thought. It shows another falsehood in the story told by Governor Greg Abbott the day after the shooting, when he praised the police officers involved and did not say that they had waited for over an hour before doing anything. The school police chief, Pete Arredondo, who was in command at the school, has insisted that there was nothing they could possibly do because they didn't have anything to protect themselves, no protective equipment from the mass murderer if they entered the classroom. And that is a lie. It's now a proven lie. That lie has fallen apart in a series of reports, the latest of which is from Tony Plahetsky of the Austin American Statesman, who will join us in a moment. This surveillance video image from inside the school, obtained by the Austin American Statesman, shows a ballistic shield, a police ballistic shield, leaning against the wall in the lower right corner of the frame, and an officer with a high-powered rifle in the lower left corner of the frame. And that image was captured 19 minutes after the mass murderer entered the school. But Tony Plahetsky is reporting that the first ballistic shield, the first one, arrived in the school 10 minutes before that. His report tonight in the Austin American Statesman carries the headline, "Exclusive: Officers arrived at Uvalde School with rifles, ballistic shield, 9 minutes after the gunman." Multiple police officers stood in a hallway at Robb Elementary School armed with rifles and at least one ballistic shield within 9 minutes of a gunman arriving at the campus, according to documents reviewed by the American Statesman. A devastating new revelation, deepening questions about why police didn't act faster to stop the shooter who killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Even as officers with high-powered weapons and ballistic shields massed inside the blue and green hallway, the gunman could be heard firing rounds, including at 12:21 p.m., 29 minutes before the officers entered the classroom and killed him. Investigators say the latest information indicates officers had more than enough firepower and protection to take down the gunman long before they finally did. 9 minutes. The police had protective equipment. They had a ballistic shield in the school 9 minutes after the mass murderer entered their school, and no one used that ballistic shield for over an hour. J. David Goodman at the New York Times reports that the hour that Chief Pete Arredondo says he spent looking for a key to open the classroom door was a wasted hour in more ways than one, because there is no evidence that the classroom doors were locked. The Times reports it was not apparent from the documents or video reviewed by the Times that anyone had checked the doors to see if they were locked. All of the public officials involved in trying to hide this information from you and from the people of Texas and from the parents of the murdered children in Uvalde and the families of the murdered teachers in Uvalde are Republicans, Texas Republicans. Some of them were at the Republican State Convention in Texas this weekend, in which the Republicans supported resolutions, including, we hold that acting President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. was not legitimately elected by the people of the United States. They also supported the United States withdrawing from the United Nations, and they also supported Texas withdrawing from the United States. And while they were at it, they said, quote, "We support privatization of the Social Security system." They issued written demands about everything from patent law to food labeling and medicine labeling and predatory towing. We urge the Texas legislature to enact legislation increasing the criminal penalties resulting from predatory towing and decreasing the state-allowed amount that a tower can charge to disincentivize the practice of predatory towing. The word Uvalde never appears in this Texas Republican document. The names of the 19 children do not appear in this Texas Republican document, a document that covers every single thing they care about in the world, literally the world. The names of the two teachers do not appear in this Texas Republican document. The final item in this seemingly endless list of grievances against the world and against the United States and against the President of the United States and against tow trucks. The final line in the official platform of the Texas Republican Party is a rebuke to the senior senator from Texas, Republican John Cornyn. We reject the so-called bipartisan gun agreement, and we rebuke Senators John Cornyn and the other 8 Republican senators who joined that agreement. Of course, Senator Cornyn was only willing to participate in even the most minimal form of bipartisan agreement on gun legislation because of the mass murders at Robb Elementary School. But his Republican Party in Texas refuses to acknowledge now that that mass murder even happened.